Boots gets exposed by Jesus Ramos. He says, wrong Ramos. He sent my uncle, because he has a relative who boxes too. He says, wrong Ramos. He sent my uncle Abel Ramos, who fights at 147 pounds, an offer to fight at 154, right? So you didn't even send it to Jesus Ramos. You sent, or Eddie Hearn or whatever. I don't know if Eddie got confused. Bad news seems to find Jaron Boots Ennis more and more frequently these days. Jaron Ennis gets exposed by another fighter for a very interesting set of circumstances. In this video, that is what I will talk about. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I got more unfortunate news for Jaron Boots Ennis, right? And the bottom line is there have been questionable choices from Jaron Boots Ennis, in my opinion. I've explained why in those videos. Make sure you check them on the channel. And most people understood it. I'm Boxing Ego. I do an amazing job of eloquently breaking down the boxing news to a point where it's digestible. You understand what's going on. And I always illustrate and convey why I feel the way I do. So most people got it. There are some, the usual suspects, the detractors, the resistance that pretend that they don't understand. And we live in a society that is weak, a weakened society, especially men. This is the weakest era of men there's ever been in the history of civilization, of established civilizations where people have homes and whatnot. Weak. And now people cry a lot. If you say something, they say, oh, you're being a bully. You hate this person. They don't tell you what you're saying that's wrong. It's just all these like cry tactics. And for me, that don't really work. So we're going to keep it trucking and keep speaking that good old message, right? So somebody on Twitter posted this. It says, Jaron Ennis says he wanted Jesus Ramos. Keep that in mind. Jesus Ramos and Boachuk, but they were not available. And he says Lima was the only one available that took the fight. So we gonna get him out the way and on to the next. So he's doing a brand new interview and he's explaining why he's fighting a guy that nobody wants to see him fight, Lima. And in true like Eddie Hearn fashion, he's doing what Eddie Hearn does. We wanted all these quality fights that people would like, but it didn't happen for some reason, right? And he mentioned Jesus Ramos. So a fan posted and tagged Jesus Ramos in this, and this is where Boots gets exposed by Jesus Ramos. He says, wrong Ramos. He sent my uncle, because he has a relative who boxes too. He says, wrong Ramos. He sent my uncle Abel Ramos, who fights at 147 pounds, an offer to fight at 154, right? So you didn't even send it to Jesus Ramos. You sent, or Eddie Hearn or whatever. I don't know if Eddie got confused or Boots got confused with the names, but either way, it's a bad look. And I guarantee you this is very easy to prove because you just get the people involved, Eddie Hearn, show proof that you sent it to Jesus Ramos. Mind you, Jesus Ramos, in my opinion, is the better Ramos. I like Abel, but Jesus, he seems harder to beat, right? Jesus Ramos is the one that fought Joey Spencer. Abel Ramos is the one, I believe he had a draw with Mario Barrios, and it might have been on the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul card, right? So he's saying it's the wrong Ramos. He sent an offer to my uncle Abel, who fights at 147, an offer to fight at 154. My uncle was available, but not for a BS offer with everything stacked against him. He played it smart by just saying Ramos, though. Wow. So, bro, this is looking terrible for Jaron Ennis. I don't care what none of y'all saying. I'm the best in this month. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. This looks horrible. So let me get this straight. Now you have another fighter who is complaining about a lowball offer. This is unprecedented territory. What do I mean? Because some people may not have seen my old videos. You had initially, since Boots announced he's moving to 54, we're talking about in a short period of time, Josh Kelly and his manager, and I believe it's his trainer, they came out and said, we'll fight Boots, but not for the money that they offered. Josh Kelly has made better money in 10 rounders. And if you're going to pretty much stack everything against us and you don't have a belt at 54, why should we just give in and take low money and take peanuts? So that's one person, Josh Kelly. Then you had Rashidi Ellis, who, again, a guy that fights at 147, you would have him move up to 54. Lima's fighting in Philly, right? And then you have these guys moving up to 47, or you're trying to get them to move from 47 to 54, fight in your hometown of Philly, where the crowd will be against them, fight on a promoter's card, Eddie Hearn in rematch room, right? Where the promotion is stacked against them, right? And you think these people are going to take it for short money. So Rashidi Ellis is the second person. Now you have Jesus Ramos saying his uncle, Abel, was offered a deal that was bad to move from 47 to 54 to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. And he said he was available, but not for that BS deal. So explain this to me, how Boots has 3 separate fighters from 3 separate locations. Josh Kelly in the UK. You got Jesus speaking on behalf of Abel Ramos, their own entity, not from the UK. And then Rashidi Ellis, who's from the East Coast. And all of their teams are pretty much saying the same thing. Rashidi Ellis's coach said it. Rashidi Ellis said it. They wanted better money and proper time to negotiate, right? And this is the tactic from Eddie Hearn and Boots currently, and it's played out. We had to fight Lima. This is literally Demetrius Andrade 2.0. And it's sad because Boots does have a lot of talent, but we got to get to a point where we can have these real conversations. And it's funny because Jaron Ennis, he keeps putting cryptic messages like, oh, you guys will see what's done in the dark comes to light. The truth will come out soon. What are you talking about? And for me, I've already explained it in my past video about Boots, right? Anytime somebody's saying that, but then it's like mental gymnastics in a word circus. I don't really believe you have much to say because you would have just said that. Here's an example. If the cop said, Ego, you are wanted for unaliving this person, you are the shooter. And I know that I am not the shooter, and I have an alibi or something that I can say that is meaningful that removes me from suspicion, then that's the first thing I would say to clear my name, right? I would be like, how could it be me when I was in Georgia and the crime took place in California? Aha. And then I would produce proof of my alibi, and then they got to drop it. I couldn't have been the suspect in a whole different state that far away and committed a crime at that time, and there's witnesses that said I was in Georgia. Done. So again, if you have something that can clear your name, that's what you would say. You're not going to play these games and like, oh, the truth is coming. I'm tired of these fake narratives. You guys will see these narratives are fake when the truth comes out. Okay, speak on it, because you have 3 different fighters, like I'm presenting the issues I have, and you have 3 different fighters. They're all saying similar things, and you're the only one talking in code, talking about the truth will come out eventually, blah, blah, blah. Well, we're still waiting. He posted that a couple days ago as of me recording the video, and we still haven't heard anything else regarding this alleged truth that Jaron Ennis is sitting on, right? So the burden of proof is at this point on Eddie Hearn and Jaron Ennis. Jesus Ramos called your bluff. He exposed it, said you sent an offer to Abel, and Eddie Hearn's doing interviews saying Ramos, trying to be slick so people get confused as to which one. Why would Jaron Ennis move to 54 and not fight the better Ramos, who's at 54 and even fought at 160 before, but then send an offer to his uncle who fights at 147 and didn't beat Mario Barrios? You know what I mean? This is not a good look, people. It's not a good look. And you have to justify who you're actually fighting, which is Lima, a fight nobody asked for. You guys let me know in the comment section.